for 63 years, and I've been doing this now, as you see here, for 46 years. That's my 46th year. It blows my mind. That's more than some of you have been alive. So I have seen the patterns in 195 countries, every country in the world that I've worked, literally. So emotions control everything. If you're overweight, one reason you're overweight is you don't manage your emotions. We think about making our body differently, but if we don't manage the emotions, we won't get there. Does that make sense? So where would you put yourself in your emotional mastery right now? The master, you find a way to find happiness or joy or positive meaning, not BS, I'm happy. I mean, really finding meaning, even if it's difficult in any situation. Are you a 0? Are you a 2, a 4, a 9, a 10? In this case, this person draws across a 4. And then relationships. And there are many relationships. There's your family, your kids, right? Your mom, your dad, your dear friends, your business associates. But the one I want you to measure is the one that has the most emotional impact. And that's your intimate relationship. And your intimate relationship is the place where the most fear can show up. Because all human beings, no matter how strong they are, have two fears deep inside. You may not feel it right now if your life's working perfectly, but we all have the fear that we're not enough sometimes. How many of you can remember a time when you felt like you were not enough? You weren't smart enough, funny enough, beautiful enough, handsome enough, crazy enough, rich enough, playful enough, something enough for someone that you really desired or loved? Who's ever felt that way? Make some noise if you would out there so you know. Because when we feel like we're not enough, it fires an even deeper fear, which is, if I'm not enough, I won't be loved. And love is the oxygen of the human soul. We all want it. So where are you? Be honest. Again, if you don't like these numbers, it's okay because we're going to fix them. But you got to be honest about where you are. If you have a map, which is what we're here today to do, is make what I call a gap map. A map between where you are, where you want to be, and then we're going to close the gap. We're going to come up with a plan, a guide to do it. You're going to do it. We're going to do it together. But if you lie to yourself, if you know where you want to go on the map, if you don't know where you want to go, the map's worthless. If you know where you want to go, but you don't know where you are, or you lie to yourself about where you are, you're going to miss the target. Make sense? So where would you put yourself in your relationship, 0 to 10? I'm a 10. We have love and passion every day. It's incredible. Or I don't have a relationship. I'm a 0, like right on that line. I'm talking about intimate relationship right now, okay? Time. This is an area that affects us all. How many of you feel like there's never enough time? Make some noise if you feel like there's never enough time. And yet we have all the time there is, right? The only thing on earth that's equal in this world is time, right? I don't care if you're the head of Tesla, Elon Musk, and you're a genius, you still only get 24 hours, right? What we do with that time was it controls our life. And most of us, we don't learn how to manage time very well. By the way, I got a question for you. What is time? What is time? Or better yet, how long's a long time? How long's a short time? What would your answer be? Put it, if you would, just for a second in the chat box so I can see your perception. Now, so you say it depends on the situation. I'm sure that's true, but just generally, if you had to tell me how much is a long time, type it in real fast so I can see, because this is interactive. How much is a long time? How long is a short time? So a long time is 100 years, 10 years. 10 minutes is a long time, okay? A year is a long time. 3 minutes of not enjoying myself. A decade's a long time. 90 minutes, 20 years. Okay, good. How much is a short time? Tell me what a short time is. Okay, a short time depends, okay? Okay, a short time is 5 minutes, a minute, 2 seconds, 5 minutes, 1 hour, 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Depends if I'm having an orgasm or not. That was interesting, ma'am. Thank you for sharing that. 60 minutes. I hope that was your orgasm. Okay, no matter. So, I want you to notice, what happens when a couple gets together? One person thinks a long time is 2 decades, and the other person thinks a long time is 2 hours. Do you see how our beliefs can also affect everything else? Your relationships are affected by your views of time. Your emotions are affected by your views of time. Your body is affected. I don't have time to work out. All of these interact. I hope you notice this. So just measure your mastery of time, your ability to manage your time, get what you want out of your life fulfilled. 0 to 10, where would you put it? Draw a line across where that is, put it in there so we see. All right? And then we'll speed it up here, career and mission. I say career and mission because I ask people, tell me about your work or your career or mission, and I listen to what they say. If they tell me their work, it is work. If they tell me it's a career, it's something that's more compelling to them. They usually do better in it because it's something they want, they've chosen, as opposed to have to do it. The difference between rich and poor, by the way, is have to versus get to. It has nothing to do with money. When your mindset is, I get to do this, you feel rich inside. When I have to do it, doesn't matter how much money you got or what your career is, it's terrible. But then there's mission. When it's your mission, you've got unlimited energy for it. Listen, I don't have to work another day in my life. I'm privileged at this stage to do this, but I worked, for 46 years to get there. But I work harder today than I ever did, even in the earlier days when I had to. Because once you get past where money isn't an issue, then it's really about what am I going to invest my life in? What's meaningful? What's impactful? So I want you to say, where's your career right now? Or, by the way, circle it. Is it career, mission, or work? And then where would you put it? And in this case, this is a real gentleman I worked with just recently, and he calls his career here at 8. These are his numbers to give you an idea. And then finances, real quick. Notice I didn't put that first. Some people try to make money first. Listen, if your body is not great, richest man in the graveyard or woman in the graveyard is not your goal, right? If you're miserable emotionally, it doesn't matter how much money you got. If your relationships are dead inside or non-existent or not the level you want, it won't matter how much money you got. If you don't master your time, it's kind of hard to master your money. So where would you put financial? 10 is where you want to be, 0 is where you are. Draw a line across and show me where that is for you. His case, it was a 5. And then finally, the 7th area of life I call contribution and celebration. This is the spiritual part of life, not religious, spiritual. I don't tell people what to believe religiously, but I do know whatever you believe, you got to practice it, feel alive. And religio, from its religion's original base word in Latin, means to celebrate. So how often do you contribute outside yourself? Because that's what makes life feel fulfilling. When you take care of somebody you care about, or even more so, if you do something for someone you don't even know, and they don't even know you did it for them, there's an unbelievable feeling in human beings. We're wired to give. I always tell people, as corny as it sounds, what changed my life one day, I was really frustrated. I was driving on this freeway. I was broke. I was working so hard. I was like, why aren't I getting this? Why isn't it coming through? And then I pulled to the side of the road, and I still have in my physical journal, I wrote it really large. I was 23 years old at the time. I wrote, "The secret to living is giving." And I just started to cry because I realized I had gotten focused on getting instead of giving, and that's not my nature. And that shifted me, right? But how often are you giving, not trying to receive? It's pretty amazing. It teaches your brain you have more than enough. I don't just mean money. It could be money. I mean time. I mean emotion. I mean attention. And most importantly, how often do you celebrate the goodness of your life and the goodness of what you celebrate? Give yourself a score, 0 to 10, and draw a line straight across. You had a 7. So if you've done this and you've got this little circle here, raise your hand so I know you got it. Make some noise so I know you're out there. See you out there. Awesome. So I'm going to strip away the visuals around this and just look at the shape of what you've designed. Maybe draw a little outline around the outside shape. Make it nice and strong. And I'll do that on the screen so you see an example of that if you guys would switch to that piece. So let's just look at the shape. This is the shape. They're making it spin. Okay. This is that man's shape. And do yours as well. Make the shape of yours. Just take a second, do the outline so you can see the shape of it. And this is the wheel of your life. As soon as you got it, look up so I know you're there, signifying the fact you've done the process. Great. How many got it? Make some noise if you got it so I know you're there. Awesome. Great. So here's my question. If this thing in front of you drew, this shape, was the wheel on the car of your life, how would your car drive? And what if, you got some special sound effects I see, and what if you try to drive at 100 miles an hour? Because that's what you probably are if you're with me today. I mean, there are a million things you could do. I just want to thank you. You're here, you're committing 2 hours of your life to make your life better. Lots of people say they want their life better. Very few people do squat, right? But if you're one of those people, you're probably an overachiever trying to drive 100 miles an hour, and now the road gets 10 times more bumpy. So our goal is to fill this out. If we went back and say, where's the gap? Some of these I'm doing better on than others. Where's the gap, and what do I need to do to close that gap? And that's what we're going to do here today. Does that make sense? So if you look back on the screen, say, okay, he's a 6. What will it take to get to a 10? Or maybe he doesn't want to be a 10, to a 9. Not everybody wants to be a 10. What do we got to do to close that gap? What do you have to do with your body? Change your mind, what you eat, what you do. A real plan with deadlines. What do we need to do to go from a 4 to a 9 or a 10 emotionally meaningful? What do we got to do to transform relationships, in this case, from a 3 to a 8, 9, or 10, whatever they're committed to? You get the idea? That's what we're going to do. So 2 questions, first of all. Which area is your strongest? Which area is your strongest? Put in the chat box. I'm curious to see which one are you the strongest in right now. I'm going to see if I notice a pattern here. I think I know what it's going to be. Okay, emotional meaning, finance, relationship, physical body, career, money is career, spirituality, career, finance, career, relationship, career. Okay, career mission. Notice career mission is a very large one. And you know why? You feel like you're in control of it to some extent, especially if you own your own business or you're a leader. But relationships are harder to control. In fact, if you control them, they don't go well. No one wants to be controlled. They want to be loved. So just a little note. What area are you the weakest in? What's the area? In fact, if there were 2 areas that you want to improve, what are the 2 areas you want to improve the most? Put it in the screen so I can see. What are the areas you're weakest in or you want to improve the most? Relationship, time and finances, physical body, career mission. Boy, it's going fast. You guys are really good at this. Relationships, time, physical, relationships, contribution, time, finance, time, relationship, finance. Okay, it gives me a good feel. It means everything, right? But I want you to, right, just for a second, shake your body out, because one thing we got to do to be effective in your home is we got to keep our energy high. Because people have been at home so long looking at screens that what happens is we tend to drop into low energy. And when your energy's low, there's no way you're going to follow through and close the gap. So I want to do something just for a second. Would you do me a favor? Sit up, stand up just for a second. Stand up. You can adjust your camera if you want, or just stand up. It's okay. And just shake your body out just for a second. Just shake it out for a second. That's it. And here's what we're going to do. What we're going to do in a second is we're going to get some energy in our body, because energy, how many would agree when you're high energy, you tend to follow through? If you agree, say aye. Say aye. How many agree when you're low energy, it's hard to get yourself to do anything? Say aye. So we got to train ourselves to be in high energy. And the best way to do that is, remember, energy is a habit. I bet you've had days where you didn't have enough sleep, but then you got excited about something, had plenty of energy. Or you didn't have enough food, but there was something excited you. You went for it. All that energy flowed. You get momentum from energy. So just for a second, I want you to just understand that energy comes from the way we move. What we focus on and the way we move generates energy. So I want you to do something silly. I want you to point at somebody on the screen, or if there's someone in the room with you, point at somebody in the room and go, I own you. Go ahead, try it. Oh, come on, say it like you mean it. I own you. No, I own you. Now, do we have any competitive people in the house? Any competitive people out there? Good. Well, the word competition means to conspire together. That's what it means in Latin, to conspire. So if I'm playing basketball with you, I'm going to push you hard. Because pushing you hard, you're going to have to get better. I'm conspiring to make you better. I want you to push me hard, so I have to get better. Well, we're going to do that with energy, because if we just sit here and listen, even this brief time, it won't hit the mark. If you're sitting passively and you're listening, there's nothing wrong with sitting, but if you're sitting passively listening going, yeah, this is good stuff, and I think I could close the gap, and I think I could change this, or damn, he has big teeth, whatever you're thinking in your head, right? But if you get your body activated while you're doing this, then what you learn gets connected to that feeling of action. You're more likely to follow through. That's why most people learn and don't follow through, because they learn in a passive state. So let's get active for just 1 second. We'll go back to our content. What I want you to do, if you would, is point somebody on the screen, or if there's someone in the room, and go, I own you. Oh, say it like you mean it. I own you. Now, when you say I own you, what you're really saying is, I challenge you, you low energy person. I'm going to produce more energy than you. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to clap, and we're going to go 1, 2, and when I say 3, your job is to outdo the energy of everyone in the room with you, or a person on the screen, by being like a little kid with that much energy. I know that sounds silly, but it's going to wake up your nervous system. How many want to give it a try here just for 15 seconds? Awesome. All right, then let's clap. Here we go. Ready? Clapping. Ready? 1. Come on. 2, 3, go. Wake it up. Wake it up. Come on, wake it up. virtual high five to your partner out there. Say, you rock, baby, so do I. And grab a seat, feeling good. Take a little sip of water so you stay hydrated. And even when you sit, take that sip of water, even when you sit, make sure you're sitting in the command chair of your life. In fact, right now, in your chair, create more energy than when you're standing. Use your body and your voice. Here we go. Come on now. Make a little noise that makes you feel good. Make a sound that makes you feel good. Yes. All right. If you feel strong in your chair, say yes. Say yes. Say yes. So we're just activating your nervous system. After all that, if you go, I'm sure glad that's over. Now we get back to the darn seminar. That won't do it. Keep your energy strong in your chair, so we go for it. So there's a gap, right, between where you are and where you want to be. I bet there's some areas. How many got some areas you feel really good about? They're doing well. Make some noise. You got some areas you're good about.